The best way to learn sociology. Sociology is the study of human social relationships and institutions. Sociology's subject matter is diverse, ranging from crime to religion, from the family to the state, from the divisions of race and social class to the shared beliefs of a common culture, and from social stability to radical change in whole societies. The purpose of sociology is to understand how human action and consciousness both shape and are shaped by surrounding cultural and social structures. We are all social beings. Sociology can help us build a better world. The first important concept in sociology is that society should articulate what is good. Communitarianism is a philosophy that emphasizes the connection between the individual and the community. Communities are webs of social relations that encompass shared meanings and above all else shared values. Communities are the elemental building blocks of society, and society comprises multiple overlapping communities. People are therefore characteristically members of many different intersecting communities. Some of the examples of communities are family, faith, neighborhood, professional, voluntary, regional, and national. Communitarianism is founded on various core social values. Strong individual rights presume strong social responsibilities. Schools should provide essential moral education without indoctrinating young people. Families are the most invaluable form of community and need to be remodeled on more egalitarian lines. Egalitarianism is the belief in human equality, especially political, social, and economic equality. In short, we should articulate what is good and build better communities. The second important concept is that we are living in a world that is beyond controllability. We are entering a new period of reflexive modernity, which is characterized by uncertainty and insecurity. The scientific and technological revolution that delivered progress is now viewed as having introduced problems of development and global risks. Just think about the high risks for nuclear energy, the chemical industry, the biotechnology, and the new age of artificial intelligence. Our advances have opened up the possibility of disasters on an unprecedented scale. Should such a catastrophe occur, it would be so grave that it would be almost impossible to contain its impact or to return to the way things were before. Accidents are unpredictable, can be felt across national borders, and impose their effects over long periods of time. Nothing appears fixed anymore, and contradictions emerge between scientists and policymakers about the appropriate risk response. Also, wealth itself provides no certain way to avoid risk. Even the wealthy nations cannot ultimately escape the consequences of global warming. The growth of globalization and interdependency produces its own negative consequences. These include financial risks and terrorism risks. With the global growth of hedge funds, futures markets, derivatives trading, debt securitization, and credit default swaps, no country can hide behind its borders from the consequences of something going wrong. Acts of terrorist violence, planned and carried out by ideological groups, permeate the boundaries between states by striking at the heart of global cities. Loss of respect for institutions and experts creates uncertainty and doubt as we begin to fear we are living in a world that is beyond controllability. In order to better respond to risks and crisis, collective and global actions have to be taken to live positively under the shadow of risk. The third important concept is that we live in a world where there is more and more information, and less meaning. There is so much information in the modern world that we cannot absorb it all and work out what is really happening. The media simplifies things for us, deciding what to make real. The replication of certain images and stories leads us to accept them as reality. The things and the events of the physical world, in their unexplained, unpackaged form, are no longer accessible to us. All complexity has been lost. All history is modern history. The past can only be understood when it coincides with the current horizon. As technology progressed, there was no need to refer to a real object or model at all. The image, which was originally abstracted from something real, could now be created from nothing. It did not need to connect to or reflect anything in the physical world at all. This kind of image is called a simulacrum. Simulacra, images that have no original in reality, can be produced to create a much more satisfying effect than images that reflect reality. Artificial intelligence can make everything seem so real, like the AI chatbots with real face and real voice, can talk like persons and can do everything that can make you satisfied. Our reality is now dictated by the incredible amount of information that streams into our life from so many forms of media. Although the real is disappearing, not because of a lack of it, but an excess of it. An excess of information pouring into our awareness puts an end to information, because we drown in complexity, and reach for the simple solution that is handed to us. Simulacra make sense of the world, even if this is at the cost of complex meaning. The world is becoming ever more superficial. The simulacra that make up our reality today have been constructed to immediately gratify our desires. As virtual reality increases, our ideas and imaginations will recede. Lastly, we would like to talk about some global issues. Global warming and climate change could be the worst of all global issues. In order to live on this earth, we all need to eat food, drink water, and breathe airs. There are no exceptions. Without the atmosphere, there could be no life on Earth. The shallow layer of gases that envelops our planet allow us to breathe and creates the climatic conditions we experience. Over the course of Earth's long history, the climate has changed many times. Natural factors caused this. But the main reason for recent climate change is the buildup of heat-trapping greenhouse gases produced by human activities. Light energy from the sun is absorbed by Earth's surface, warming it up. The resulting heat is emitted from land and sea in the form of infrared radiation, most of which escapes back into space. However, heat-trapping gases in the atmosphere keep Earth much warmer than it would be otherwise. These gases create a greenhouse effect, forming a layer that traps heat going out from Earth's surface and retains some of it within the lower atmosphere, causing the atmosphere to warm up. For thousands of years before industrialization, concentrations of greenhouse gases are relatively stable, keeping the planet's temperature steady with only small fluctuations around a long-term average. Industrialization has dramatically increased greenhouse gas concentrations, trapping more heat within the atmosphere and warming the surface and over atmosphere. Carbon dioxide and methane are the primary greenhouse gases. Human activities that lead to carbon dioxide emissions come primarily from energy production, including burning coal, oil, or natural gas. We need to use energy to travel, work, play, and enjoy life. The primary energy source is from fossil fuels. The largest sources of methane are agriculture, fossil fuels, and decomposition of landfill waste. Livestock emissions, from manure and gastroenteric releases, account for roughly 32% of human-caused methane emissions. All the waste we generate originates from natural resources, which are often extracted in environmentally damaging ways. Waste disposal also causes problems, such as pollution and climate change. In 1900, the world produced about 500,000 tons of solid waste per day. By 2000, that quantity was 6 times higher. By 2100, based on projected population, social, and economic trends, it's expected to quadruple again to about 12 million tons. Currently, about 55 million tons of electronic waste is generated each year. Computers, cell phones, and televisions are among the products that comprise this growing mountain. So, how does global warming and climate change affect our life? Firstly, the rise in temperature is already leading to melting ice sheets and glaciers, which contributes to sea level rise. The consequences of sea level rise are particularly severe in low-lying countries such as Bangladesh. It may cause flooding, and the problem is likely to get worse. Secondly, across the world, climate change is leading to shifts in seasonal patterns. Sometimes subtle and taking place over decades, the implications can nonetheless be profound for people and nature. Spring is arriving earlier across most of the U.S. Such changes could have potential effects on plant and animal life cycles, which are tied to the seasons. It can also have a big impact on farming, water supply, and energy demand. Lastly, as the climate warms, extreme weather is becoming more frequent and leading to a series of devastating knock-on consequences. There are more droughts, floods, and storms, which can cause many problems. Floods, droughts, and storms can reduce food production, causing shortages, rising prices, and hunger. Severe droughts can cause lack of drinking water, and have recently led to restrictions on public water consumption. Flooding and storm damage can lead to contaminated drinking water supplies as well. While reducing fossil fuel emissions and limiting land use change is under some human control, so-called feedbacks play an increasingly important part in climate change as our world gets warmer. There are some potentially serious positive feedbacks that could add to global warming. If temperatures rise more than the threshold, feedbacks could accelerate climate change. These feedbacks include the following. The loss of ice cover. As ice melt in the Arctic and elsewhere, the darker surfaces of ocean and tundra are exposed, which absorb much more of the sun's energy, speeding up global warming and melting more ice. The release of seabed methane. Huge quantities of methane are stored in seabeds. This methane is stable at lower temperatures, but global warming could cause the gas to be releases into the atmosphere, speeding up warming and causing further methane release from the seabed. The melt of permafrost. At high latitudes, close to polar regions, there are vast areas of peat soils frozen as permafrost. As the climate warms and causes the permafrost to melt, these greenhouse gases are released, causing further melting and emissions. The dieback of rainforest. Decreased rainfall and heat stress could cause large areas of rainforest to dry out and turn into savanna, or grasslands, which hold less carbon than dense forests, thereby increasing levels in the atmosphere. Due to those feedback loops, we have to take immediate actions to shape our future, including low-carbon growth, clean technologies, sustainable and circular economy. In addition to global warming and climate change, there are some additional global issues that can have big impacts to our life. Air pollution is a major cause of premature death. The rise of huge cities, combined with increases demand for energy and cars, is making things worse. Vehicle exhausts, emissions caused by power stations, and forest fires are the principal sources of air pollution. Extreme weather is the primary cause of increased forest fires. Acid rain is caused by emissions of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, which react with water in the atmosphere to produce acids that cause harm to plants, aquatic animals, and buildings. It can also pose serious respiratory problems for humans. The main source of acid rain is the large-scale combustion of coal in power stations and industrial plants. Desertification is mostly caused by the degradation of delicate ecosystems, especially savanna woodlands, leading to soil loss and desertification. Various human activities, such as deforestation and farming practices, can cause deserts to spread and, in the process, bring a series of problems. Forests are plundered for wood and cleared to make way for farming. Deforestation and overgrazing are the primary factors for desertification. Desertification can cause dry rivers, soil damage, loss of plants and animals, and in the end, have big impact on people, like the loss of crops and cattle, reduced food production, more widespread malnutrition and death. Acid sea is primarily caused by industrialization. Carbon dioxide released because of human activities has been absorbed by the oceans. This has caused marine environment to rapidly become more acidic, leading to conditions not experienced on Earth for more than 20 million years. This has profound impacts on many ecologically vital species including oysters, clams, urchins, corals, and plankton. The decline of these and other organisms will cause disruption to entire food webs, bringing devastating consequences for industries dependent on fish and shellfish. In summary, we have discussed many global issues, including global warming and climate change, air pollution, acid rain, desertification, and acid seas. To better combat all those global issues, people have to work together, change to healthier and cleaner lifestyle, use more renewable energy, promote energy efficiency, recycle more and use more green transportation. A new mindset of a sustainable and circular economy is the only way to restore our future.